In this image, we see two people, probably students. One is male and the other is female. They are both sitting on a blue couch in front of a bright blue wall with what appears to be a scientific compound composition mural behind them, giving the impression that they may be in some kind of science building on the University of Kentucky's campus. The boy is sitting on the far left side of the couch with his legs apart and his hands together as he almost stares into the camera, not showing much emotion other than maybe implying sophistication or sternness. But with the girl, it is the complete opposite. The girl is sitting comfortably with her knees toward the boy, her arm is on the back of the couch, and she appears to be trying to talk or tell a joke to the boy, because she's smiling and she just seems really engaged. When we take a look at the left side of the image, we see a window that has the view of a concrete hallway with a chair and a table located near the glass. There's a really thick beam of white light traveling across one of the gray walls. There's also what seems to be either a screen or poster located above this light, but it's kind of blurry near the top left corner and I can't really tell what it is or what is on it. I can also tell that there is a little bit of red glowing from the exit sign in that gray hallway, and that's really all we can definitely make out from looking into this area located around the left side of the photograph. In terms of compositional elements, this image is loaded with them. The color is the most obvious one, being that it takes up almost 3/4 of the photograph. This really helps to draw our attention to the two people sitting in front of this massive blue wall, and it kind of cancels out everything else. Plus, the boy happens to be wearing a light brown jacket that even further makes the two people stand out, especially him. We can see multiple instances of line, with some examples being the edges of the couch, the plaid stripes on the girl's jacket, the crisp corners from the compound mural, and the perpendicular edges that form around the windowsill in the far left. On top of the bright light that I mentioned earlier, even though it does seem to have a slight curve to it, unlike the other examples of line that I just mentioned. Depth of field also plays a role in this image, as the two people are clearly the focal point, and the distance all the way in the back of the gray hallway is the actual back view, and it in turn is quite blurry and not as crisp as the people are. The rule of thirds is also prevalent, with the glass window showing the relationship of the vertical rule of thirds, and the couch and people showing the horizontal rule of thirds, as they occupy the bottom 2/3 of the photograph. As for interpreting what the image is trying to express, I have two theories. The first theory is that this is a portrait expressing the differentiating personalities associated with having categories, small categories like friends, or large categories like gender and sex. The boy seems pretty exclusive and closed off, yet his legs being spread apart kind of symbolizes dominance, and the girl is more inclusive. Yet her body language is more closed off, as she again has her knees kind of close to her. The second theory is that this is a comparison between introversion and extroversion, and this theory also goes along with many of the same points mentioned in the first theory, like how the boy is closed off and the girl is more open. In this case, the boy would be the introvert and the girl would be the extrovert, and we can definitely see this as the girl is really close to him and kind of almost invading his space, and the boy doesn't seem to care much for what she's saying. It's like he's trying to ignore her because he can't just openly engage like she can. Either way, it's obvious that there's a comparison happening, a comparison of polar opposites. In terms of possible improvements, I really wouldn't change much about this, given that the photographer hit so many nails on the head with the compositional elements, but it does seem like the photograph maybe shouldn't have cut off part of the boy's legs. Maybe if we had less of the wall and a bit of the floor, the overall balance of the photo would have been better. But even that isn't super major, it's just something minor really. But overall, this was a great portrait.